since it's such a seller's market, a lot of brokers, what you'd be focusing on mostly in your business is getting more sellers to come to you guys, I guess. Do you see this multiple changing and rising or just continuing steady for another few years? And I know this is very speculative, you guys, but I like to just bring this up because Mark and I are deep in the industry and we want to just have a bit of discussion on what we feel may happen. What do you feel, Mark?
Not necessarily. I do. I mean, will multiples continue to rise? I think so. Not necessarily at the rate that I think they have been. And again, this is my own speculation on this, but I think we'll continue to see a fragmentation by industry type. SaaS can get really strong multiples, especially when you start getting into 7, 8 figure territory. Then we start seeing multiples on revenue as opposed to earnings. So we do see this fragmentation by industry type. I do think we're going to continue to see that. Where you do start to run into issues, though, and problems is just with the idea that buyers still need to see that return on their investment. And you do run into real barriers on that when you get multiples to a certain point. I think a lot of the reason that the market has grown and been so active for the past 3 years has been bank lending. Bank lending has really fueled a lot of transactions, and that by its own nature, it will put a limit on where multiples can go, just because a bank will require that business be able to finance itself, right? And so I think that'll be a problem. If we're just looking at institutional money, private equity, family office, or even these small funds that really seem to be popping up, yeah, I can see those more and more starting to raise multiples, but a lot of those groups are really disciplined as well in their buying behavior. And sticking to a specific type of multiples. So where I see the potential for multiples rising would be more strategics. And we're starting to see this as well, right? We had a couple strategics happen this past year that weren't necessarily intended to be strategics, but the buyer that came in happened to have a really good fit, like really, really good fit. And now they're on the prowl because they're like, whoa, this is great. These were offline businesses, right? These were not, they didn't have an online presence. They came in and they are now seeing the opportunity and they want to do more.